Hi bros, what's up? My name is IMMIDIATE and welcome to this video. It's been a while, it's been a long time I created a video and I uploaded it, so it was a bit hard for me to come up, I just got out of shape, you know what I say. And the purpose of this video, we jumped straight into the purpose of the video. The purpose of this video is, it's been a while since the last English video I recorded. It's been a while, and let me check and see accurately how long it's been. The English video I recorded was published on January 25, and right now it's April 11, so it's been quite a while. I made other videos during this time. My last video was March 1, and the reason I stopped creating videos continuously because there was a schedule for my channel. I created gaming videos about like different games and stuff, and I was actually going to create one, and it was almost finished by editor to be uploaded on February 28th. But you know what happened on February 28th? The war began with Iran, with the Islamic Republic of Iran, not Iran. So let me jump back and let's see what happened that led to this war and everything. This video is about situation in Iran. At late December 2025, the protests began in Iran. The reason for protests is 47 years of oppression and basically every human right that is taken from people of Iran, and people are not having good lives in Iran. So after many attempts, back in 2009, back in, it was 2019, 21, many years of people going and protesting and getting killed in the street, unfortunately. This wicked regime of Iran has no morality. This regime is not afraid of killing people. And there are some imbeciles in Twitter or X or Instagram or any other social media that I see that they still support this morally wrong regime. This regime covers everything by saying this is for sake of Allah or Islam. This is not about Islam or God or Allah anymore. This is about a regime that does not care about its own people. They kill their own people, they rape, they torture them. By the way, here's a quick video. I forgot to talk about this video specifically in the main video, so let's watch this first.
چیزی که الان قراره بشنوین روایت تجاوز گروهی به یکی از نزدیکای خودمه. قبل از هر چیز من متاسفم که این واقعیت قراره خیلی همونو ناراحت کنه و من تمام سعیمو کردم تک به تک کلماتشو بهتون برسونم بجز جزئیات تجاوزو. ببین، گفتن اینا سخت‌ترین کاریه که دارم تو زندگی من انجام میدم. حتی سخت‌تر از چیزی که تجربه کردم. نمیدونم، شاید. ولی بهت میگم و تو باید قول بدی. قول بدی که به گوش همه برسونی. برو به اون خارجی‌ها، غیر ایرانی‌ها بگو چیزایی که شما پرونده جنایی میدونین تو ایران داره اتفاق میفته. چیزایی که شما هر روز میایین برای حقوق بشر ازش دفاع میکنین الان داره اتفاق میفته و شماها ساکت شدین. اون شبی که ما رو بردن انداختنمون توی یه سوله. قبلش هم خیلی کتکمون زدن، در حدی که فکر کردم دیگه قرار نیست فردا رو ببینم. یه دخمه تاریک بود. من اولین بار بود بازداشت میشدم. فکر میکردم قراره ببرنم زندان، ولی بردنم توی یه دخمه تاریک که بوی خون میداد. باهات شوخی نمیکنم، به خدا قسم بوی خون میداد. من نمیدونستم خون بو داره. بچه‌ها رو مثل یه حیوان به دیوار زنجیر کرده بودن. باهات شوخی نمیکنم وقتی میگم بچه سنشون از 13-14 سال شروع میشد. تفلک‌ها از سر و روشون خون میچکید. بعد یه مش حرومزاده با صورتای پوشیده اومدن وسط، شلواراشون رو در آوردن و خندیدن. بلند داد میزدن آزادی میخوای؟ بیا، اینم آزادی. میفهمی؟ جلو چش همه مثل کفتار، مثل حیوان ریختن سرمون. میگفتن شما اسیر جنگین، مال ما این، هر کاری بخوایم باهاتون میکنیم. حتی جنازتون رو نمیتونه کسی پیدا کنه. صداتون به جایی نمیرسه. خانوادم 2 میلیارد پول دادن، به همه وابسته شدن، از همه کمک خواستن، به همه پول دادن تا فقط منو از اون تو بکشن بیرون. حالا هم بابامو دارن تهدید میکنن. هر روز زنگ میزنن میگن اون یکی بچت هم میکشیم اگه جایی حرفی به کسی چیزی بگی. راستی چیزی رو حتما بگو. هیچ کسی جز اون بیشرفی که دستور خامنه‌ای رو اجرا کرد، کشت، تجاوز کرد، زندانی کرد، مقصر نیست. و ازتون یه خواهشی دارم. اینو به همه بگو ساکت نمونید. ما اینجا داریم تیکه تیکه میشیم. اینا با تفنگ وایساده بودن بالای سرمون وقتی اون یکی داشت کارشو انجام میداد. اینا هر میخندیدن. اینا واقعا تجاوز میکردن. به دادمون برسید قبل از اینکه هممونو توی سکوت کوفتی دفن کنن. من از خودم و این زندگی حالم به هم میخوره. فقط نذارید این دردا بی صدا بمونه. تو رو خدا شمایی که خارج از ایرانید بجنگید. به خاطر ما، به خاطر من.
Because they want to stay in charge, you know, that's just simple. Many years of taking money away from people, many years by stealing money from people, stealing oil money, stealing gas money, stealing resource money, and servicing their own asses, you know, buying properties in other countries. You know, the supreme leader Mojtaba, which is like, I don't know, is he even alive or not, the gay guy, you know, he has massive net worth and mansions in UK, the very country that they claim to be enemy. Many of their children live in US, which is their direct enemy. Many in Canada, in Toronto actually. So, you know, they always say that, oh yeah, Western world is bad, we are enemy, they are like evil. But when it comes to their own children and their own, you know, bastards, it's justified. It's just a better country to live. And fortunately, they are getting kicked out by, recently the ICE started to opening more direct investigations on their accounts, and some of them kicked out, some of them their green cards were declined, and you know, justice has been shown to them, because always they brag about their military power. They brag about, if we want, we can destroy US in blink of an eye, and you know, that's just impossible for them, because Iran and things they brag about, it's literally ancient. You know, the military of Iran, the navy, the air force, the ground forces even, it froze in 70s. Yes, they developed some missiles, still with that old technology. The most effective thing, we have to give it to them, it was Shahed drones, which was cheap and mass produced and effective somehow, because it was swarm of them, and you know, it's hard for air defenses to detect a swarm of small drones and, you know, cheap drones. So that's something I can give it to them. Good job for creating that. But the fact that those instrument of death, those instrument of military is being used against Iranian people, is not like the regime doesn't bomb people, but they kill people with bullets. So not really different. Bomb is like different strategy. They didn't unlock that yet, but sure, if situation happens, they have no fear to use that. I guarantee this to you. They killed more than 40,000 people in the last protest, which is extremely, like with big X, a lot. And they just killed 12,000 people in 2 days of those protests. So imagine how this regime is. Like, I cannot dedicate a word to describe how bad and how evil this regime is, that claims to be the most righteous regime in the world. So, I mean, these kind of videos are really hard for me to create. I created one and I was just about to start editing it, and there was a ceasefire. So I had to create another video, and I have to edit this video quickly because everything just updates so quickly. And you know, a few days ago there was a ceasefire. That attack that started on March 1, I believe, by Israel and US, which was Epic Fury and Roaring Lion. Yes. That attack was ceasefire for Iran, and they said, okay, we're going to negotiate. And you know what's the point of negotiating with the killer of their own supreme leader? Because the first day of war, Khamenei died, and there was actually a protest it wasn't a protest, it was a rally on Toronto, which I created a vlog, that's in Farsi. And during that rally, we didn't know that Khamenei is dead when we started that rally. But as the rally was going, in the middle of that, some guy since it was March, you know, there was still snow in Toronto. A guy was on a pile of snow and screamed, "Everyone, Khamenei is dead," and everyone was just losing it because, you know, this guy ruled for 37 years of these 47 years. Before him was Khomeini, which people 47 years ago switched him with Shah, and I don't know why. I believe it was British, France, and US propaganda that, you know, the better good for the world in their views, in their eyes, was to change Iranian regime at that time, and they triggered something very important for people of Iran. It was important back in days, which was religion, and they used Khamenei as a religious figure. Some people even worshipped him as a divine entity. You see how extreme these people are. The Islamic regime followers, how extreme these people are. And after him, after 10 years of him, this guy came, Khamenei, and before that he was president of Iran. And this was meant to be a temporary leader for them to switch between a true leader. And when he got on the chair and sat there and said, oh, okay, this is fun, I'm not going to hand it to anyone. And this guy was on for 37 years and killed many people, and he died like a dog. First day of the war, they claim that he is leader of all Muslims in the world, which is not true. I mean, you know, this is not about Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. This is about a corrupt government, an evil government, disguising as Islam to be able to justify killing. You know, there's good Muslims, friend of mine's, good Christians and good Jews. Not every Muslim is terrorist, and not every Jewish is like the typical stereotypes, you know. There is good and there is bad people, but these are bad people. One of the things I said in one of my videos, I'm not remember which one, I said that Islamic regime followers dropped Islam of Muhammad and Ali and submitted to this Ali's Islam, which is Ali Khamenei. And you know, the things they do is not even justified in Islam. You know, in Islam it says that the religion should not be forced, but in Iran it is. If you're not happy with Islam and for any reason you want to change your religion from Islam to anything, you will be executed because they say you're murtad, which is, yeah, you're enemy of God somehow. If you disrespect Khamenei, you are murtad because they believe he's right heir to God's throne and the true representative of Mahdi, which is the 12th Imam of Shia, which is also believed to be a Messiah, kind of like similar to Messiah and how he's going to come and save the world. Same story with Jesus, and you know how that goes. They believe that he is the true representative of him on this earth, and now his son, which is unknown that even he is alive or badly injured or well, God knows, because you know it was the supreme palace. It was like Beit Rahbari. I don't know how I can say Beit Rahbari in English, but the Persian guys know what I'm saying. The residency of this guy, it was bombed first day, and residency and office, and he died, and some of his relatives died, maybe like it was his daughter-in-law or something died, and they say, okay, because many of him and his relatives were there and died, most probably his son was also there and died. He has multiple sons, but this Mujtaba is the golden boy for him, you know. And that's the guy that claimed to be untouchable, that people who followed him thought he was untouchable. And you know, that's when they see that, okay, he was not a god, he was nothing but a coward person who used its own people as a human shield to hide under the ground, deep under the ground, to save his ass. And one day that he was in his residency or his office, US bombed and died. You know, this is the guy that claims to be the ultimate commander of Iranian armed forces. You know, the supreme leader in Iran has the full authority over military. It's IRGC and regular army, which is Artesh, Sepah and Artesh. This guy died on the first day, and I don't know how stupid someone can be that still follow this regime. You know, your supreme leader died on first day. Your other, like many of IRGC officials have been died by Israel, have been killed by Israel. What are you supporting right now? Your regime, your ideology, your brain rot government is dead. That's period. That's finished. You know, right now, you know, a cockroach, when you cut a head from cockroach, it can stay alive for a few days and walk, and you know, it's alive, but it's going to die very soon. And this is the same story with Islamic Republic. The head is cut off, the limbs are cut off, the navy is destroyed, Air Force wasn't that really functional, but also destroyed. Many of the, you know, the leaders and officials and commanders dead. So I don't know how this regime is running. You know, the president is alive. President is just a symbol in Iran. The other guy, Ghalibaf, is still alive, and that's it. These are the two main guys that are alive. You know, and there's one son of a bitch called Ejei that is also alive, which is the head of judicial system. And yeah, these are also believed to be dead soon. And you know, in this last month of war, you know, their numbers are not accurate anytime, but it's believed that they executed, this is not killed, executed more than 600 people in this only 1 month of war. You know why? Because if you even get connected to internet, I'm going to get to internet, the whole internet stuff. Hold on a second. If someone gets connected to internet, they are automatically called criminal. How on earth is it possible to not have internet? And imagine, Iranian regime cut the internet for, as of right now, it's more than 1,000 hours. You know, that's just straight crazy in 21st century, where you wake up in the morning and your life is tied to internet, and when you go to sleep at night, your sleeping is also tied to internet, your job is tied to internet, your, I don't know, other things, your taxation, your income, your insurance is connected to internet. Imagine in that world, Iran just say, okay, let's cut the internet. You know how many people that I still know, suffered from this? You know, I'm an editor. I worked with internet. I created Farsi content for my people that they can watch and enjoy. You know, I worked with designers, editors, and many other jobs that are related to internet. You know how many jobs were destroyed? Every day that the internet is cut, there's a belief that says $35 million loss every day for Iran because the internet is cut. Because, you know, the exporting and importing also works with internet, you know, and that's also being cut. You know how many people have not contacted their family for more than 3 weeks right now, and they have no idea that their family, their friends, their loved ones are even alive or not. Imagine you miss a mobile notification. Imagine you miss creating something. That's my case. I miss creating video. You know, that's just simple that people, Iranians, cannot live the life they want because their regime, you know. Even if you're in Canada or in US or in Germany, you immigrated, you are still tied to your country. And that's the scenario for us, for every Iranian people, every Iranian guy that you see on street. You know, let me check the date here. On February 14, there was a rally on Toronto Yonge Street, which is the main street here, that by Canadian news, it was more than 300,000 people on Yonge Street protesting, rallying, and saying that we don't want this regime. How simple that would be, that people do not want this. Get the fuck out, okay? But these guys don't do such. They think people who are against them, every single one of them, is paid by Israel and US to do fitna, which is like something to do, like, you know how I can translate fitna, but to do like bad works against the country. They say, okay, you sold your country, you are no Iranians. And when you put it into equation, you see how radical this is, how eradicated this is. That if you follow us, you are good. If you not, you are not good. Imagine how this government would work. A government that has control over everything in Iran. Some people in Canada or every other country, unfortunately, there is still some followers. These coward people, they even hide their faces in these countries, you know? If you are so right, why do you hide your face? I think you are scared of something, yeah. You know? And these people come up and they say, yes, US bombed Iran and killed people. There is a thing. There is always collateral damage, unfortunately. I'm really sorry for people, regular people, who lost their lives in this war. But I also believe there's a cost to pay. And they say, yeah, Mateen is sitting in Canada and Toronto and he got nothing to worry. I got family there. So, you know, I got things there. So, you know, it's not that simple that I don't care about my people. I care about people, but I care about future of my people and future of myself. Because one day, I really rather to die in my own country. You know, and right now you cannot. Everything on social media in Iran is filtered. You want to go to Instagram, you have to surpass many VPN to be able to go to Instagram to see a post and laugh and close the app and do your other thing. Same for YouTube, same for Facebook, same for X or Twitter, and everything is banned. And right now they cut the internet, so it's like more banned than, you know, how you can ban something more than just being banned. So That's the situation. And some people find a way to get connected by it's called like proxies and DNSs, and everything is like really complicated. When I came here, there was none of these talks, and you know, people just find a way. But this doesn't mean that regime is welcome to cut the internet on people. People have to have access to like free international internet. That's how the life goes. But this regime want to deny that and decline that. You know, after these 47 years, you know how they spent this budget? They created the lowest worthing currency in the world, which is Iranian rial, which wasn't like this for like 47 years ago, before this regime comes, and it wasn't like this. You know why? Because they created every missile, funded every proxies in the region, every accomplishment, military accomplishment for saving their own asses by Iranian money, by Iranian people's money, oil money, gas money, resource money, tax money, and they spent nothing on them, literally nothing. If they would spend this money on people, Iran would be one of the top countries in the world, more rich than Saudi Arabia or Emirates or Turkey. You know, that's a huge talk, and it's not. The inflation in Iran is crazy. When you have to buy 2 pound of meat, or 1 kilogram of meat, for 2 million tuman, which is 20 million rial. And that's just straight up crazy. 20 million worth of currency for 1 kilogram of meat. Imagine how that would be. People, young people, have to live a life full of enjoyment, you know? It's normal lives. This is not something extraordinary. This is not luxury. This is a life that people have the right to have, and this regime has taken that right for many years. And if you are not happy with the situation, your answer would be a bullet, would be a rope around your neck, would be they just kill you. And they ask money from their families to return the body. Imagine how wicked this regime is. No, I can just sit here and talk about this matter for a few days, but you know, time's running out. Time's running out for this video, and time is running out for this regime. So, you know, and there's a representative for Iranian people. It's exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi, which is the true representative for majority of Iran. Of course, there are Iranians that are not with government, but not also agree with Prince. That's totally fine in my opinion, because in a government, in a federal system, which I think is best for Iran, you have to have every people from all over the spectrum. You have to have people from far right and far left, and see what the majority wants. They come, they talk, and they get voted, and by fair election, and you know, people choose who rules over them. But right now, I think the best thing is Prince Reza Pahlavi, which is a transitional leader. He claims that I want to bring the country into transition phase, and after that I let people to choose. And you know, he's a fair guy. You know, he's educated actually, unlike these imbeciles that rule over Iran right now. But yeah, you know, the situation is really complicated, and I have to edit this video really quickly because I don't know what will happen next. Maybe at the time of this video, something new happens and I didn't mention in the video. As of right now, it's like 11:24 right now in Toronto, and Iranian government sent a team to negotiate with US in Islamabad, Pakistan, and that did not end really well, and they didn't have an agreement. This is the latest news that's on my hand. So I don't know, after this would be a war, not. Maybe after a week would be a war or not. It was a 2-week ceasefire. So after that, if they don't reach an agreement, there would probably be war, and I hope that be the last one that people take. I hope that be the last one that this regime takes, and you know, they'll be thrown into history's trash bin forever and ever, and they be remembered as a regime that destroyed Iranian culture, destroyed Iranian authority, destroyed everything that Iran was used to have, like, you know, destroyed everything that Iran used to have. And this be a few pages in history books that will be taught to children in future. So I think that's it for this video, and without like too much talk, I mean I talked a lot, but without talking more, just follow the Instagram and these stuff that all the YouTubers say. Comment, subscribe, like, you know, share your opinions. We will have a discussion in the comment section, and you know, I hope everything turns good for Iranian people, both inside and outside of Iran. And that's it. Until the next video, I hope everything turns well. You know, I cannot say how heartbroken I am about some stuff, that for a few weeks I was not able to do my own things because my mind was so wired into the situation that, you know, you feel paralyzed. You feel you want to do something, but you don't have the urge to do that. You want to do that, but you cannot do that. You know, you have no idea like how people in Iran lived, how Iranian people have experienced. And yes, that's it. Thanks for watching this video this far, and until the next video, bye now.